Hi, I'm Mark Laymon,
And I'm Adam Nielsen.
and we're the two owners of Shelf Candy Games, a board game company that we just started because we love board games and we want to share them with our kids, and we're tired of clawing our eyes out with really boring, all random, no skill games with our kids.
Thank you, Mark, for that introduction. That was quite wonderful. So, what first gave you the idea to come up with Rock, Paper, Scissors, the board game? Why Rock, Paper, Scissors?
Yeah, it actually started a little bit before this game. I was wanting to develop a game that would be interesting enough for my young son, who was probably 5 or 6 at the time, to not just want to play video games. And so I wanted to come up with a game that was somewhat similar to the video games he was used to. And I realized that that game was going to be way too complex for a 4-year-old. And I realized that I was going to have to ease him into board games. I was going to have to start off with really, really simple versions of games like Candyland or Snakes and Ladders, where you're just getting used to the idea of taking turns, not being really upset if you lose. You're kind of introduced to the idea of chance, and that's all there is to it. That there'd sort of be a gateway to something more complex. So the idea of Rock, Paper, Scissors, the board game, is to have an introductory game into board games that isn't all chance, but isn't all strategy, to kind of build them up to some of the more complex games that have multiple working aspects to it to keep track of.
Absolutely. And going off of what you said earlier about just getting your kids off the screen time, I definitely saw the need for that. So when you approached me about maybe being partners in this company, that's one of the things that I really saw value in and that I was willing to join in with you on, is because I do think that we need to be able to spend time with our kids and also do it in a way that's exciting for both kids and parents. And when I saw the idea for Rock, Paper, Scissors, I already knew my daughter was playing Rock, Paper, Scissors at school with all of her friends.
Sense.
So I'm like, why not turn this into a board game? They already know how to play rock, paper, scissors with their friends at school. So we turn it to a board game that they already understand from their school classmates, and then introducing a little bit of chance into it and the strategy already with rock, paper, scissors. We can come up with a game that I believe that both kids and parents will like.
Yeah, you know, whenever I remember bringing over one of the first prototypes of the game that was made out of charred chipboard, you know, where you got the char all over your hands and it was paper. I remember bringing it over saying, be sure not to spill anything on it or get it wet. And you were playing with your daughter. Even in that early prototype of the game, how difficult was it to explain it to her or to get her play? I think she was 6 at the time?
Yeah,
perhaps?
Yeah, she was 6 at the time.
Yeah, so how was your experience playing this with your...
Yeah, my experience was really good playing with my daughter. Especially with the base version of the game. There was that other version where you kind of turn things. That was a little bit complicated for her to do.
Yeah, it's definitely improved.
But and we've improved a lot since then.
Yeah.
So we took that part out.
Yeah.
But I think the base game I'm very happy with. I think that she likes playing. I like playing with her, and I don't always win all the time. So that's the best part, is having a game where your kids can actually win, because it's not just skill. There's an element to chance there, so the parents don't just automatically win every single time, because that get boring for the kids too.
That's very
so
true.
I mean, we're trying to create a game that kids and parents will enjoy, that can be played multiple times.
Right. So I remember bringing the first beta version over to you, and one of the first things that you asked was, why is it made out of paper? I couldn't remember exactly what you said, but like one of your first contributions in comments on the game and beta testing was that you didn't like the chipboard pieces.
Right. It felt like cardboard to me, basically. And with those cardboard pieces, you had mentioned like mass manufacturing at the time and just being able to produce it, at the lowest cost.
Right. Really being able to bring the cost down.
Right. Exactly. Which isn't bad per se, but I kind of made the comment that I think other parents as well as myself, we really miss quality products. There's enough games out there that you can pick up at Walmart, but that aren't good quality. They break, they stain, they're only good for a couple months of playthroughs, and by then they're all worn out, you've lost the pieces.
The box falls apart.
The box
and you
falls
lose
apart.
all the pieces.
Yeah, you lose things
You
that
just
way.
throw it in a closet.
I mean, I can't tell you, even in my own closet, I probably have at least 3 games in there that are missing pieces because the cardboard box fell apart.
Mm.
So that's one of the things that I love that we've done with our game is we've actually made our box out of wood.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it feels quality and it's not falling apart. Nobody's going to be losing any pieces out of this thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the box itself, I had to weigh it to see what it would cost for shipping and getting it around, and it's almost 3 pounds for the game. I mean,
Yeah.
you pick it up, it feels like a hefty game.
It feels quality.
For sure.
That's something that's missing. You see that with old furniture. You know, old furniture, really heavy, very good quality, and it's handed down through generations. And then, you know, the new stuff, you know, a lot of IKEA kind of cheap stuff
Yeah.
falls apart within a few years. So
You know, and speaking about handing this game down, I really believe that this game is put together in such a way with actual plywood, with wood glue, in such a way to where it could stand the test of time. And the game that you play with your kids, the same exact game, they could play with their kids.
exactly.
Like, they're not going to have to buy, you know, we played Monopoly and Clue when we were younger, and we recently purchased Monopoly and Clue for our kids. But that's just it. We remember playing that game, but we had to buy a new chipboard game
Right.
for our kids.
Exactly.
This is a game that your kids can actually play with their kids.
Right. And not have to purchase a whole new game.
Right.
So I mean, in that sense, they're even saving some money.
Yeah.
So I like that our game is going to be a classic like that, similar to maybe chess or checkers. Would be, for example, I have a chessboard set that I have played multiple times, hundreds of times, and it's all wood.
Right.
And it's still in great condition. I haven't lost any pieces because the box itself is also wood.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's what we've recreated with our game, and hopefully making a classic that parents can play with their kids, and then eventually when they become grandparents, they can play with their grandkids.
Right.
So, and then hand it down to their kids once they pass.
Yeah. You know, and it's a game too that has, with the way it looks, being all wood and the colors being stained, so even through the stain you can still see the natural grain and the uniqueness of each of the pieces, that it's a game that if it's out, even in a nice setting and you're hosting a party and it's on your table, I know I'm talking QVC right now, but it's a game that could literally be sitting out, it's inviting to play, it's simple enough to play, and it's not going to look terrible if it's out.
Right, it doesn't look messy at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look messy.
Looks classy.
Classy. All of the pieces can be in their own drawstring bag, you know, to keep them together. And it's a game that can feel inviting, but also it's not going to look bad on your shelf. You know, it's not a game. Even the box itself isn't something you have to hide away in a closet to get
Right.
it out of the way. It's like something you could almost put on display.
Almost looks like candy.
Yeah, for a shelf.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.